Hi everyone, it's me, B, Atikali Sunflower. So I'm on today to do a hashtag, and this hashtag was created by Julia from the Highly Sensitive Tarot channel. And the name of the tag is called My 10 Most Neglected Tarot Decks of 2023. So I have a lot of decks in my collection, and this was quite hard for me to sift through and find the ones that I haven't really been working with. I have also included Oracle decks. I use both Tarot and Oracle. I've got 11 decks, but one of them is not open, so really I have got 10 that I'm going to show you. But the first deck that I want to show you is an unopened deck, and this is called Manifesting Your Greatness, and it's created by Amy E. Chase. Now, I have had an open copy of this deck. I mean, this one's about 3 years old that's remained unopened, but I did have a deck that I opened and I loved and I used to play with, and a friend of mine kind of persuaded me to give it to her, and I bought it back. And for some reason, this is one of my decks that's still in cellophane. I just haven't got the I don't know why I can't open it, but I do intend to open this deck soon and start playing with it, because it is a very nice Oracle deck. If I can remember, I think the one thing that put me off using the deck when I had it in the first place was that the kind of like titles were very, very small, because this is a very brightly coloured deck with blue edges, and it was colourful, which is my thing, but just very difficult to read with. So this is my first deck, and I'm going to be opening this very, very soon. So the next deck is this one. It's called the Tarot of Tailors. I bought this on Etsy. It's an independent deck, and it's a major arcana only tarot deck. It's got like a little guidebook of pull out, I should say, of the cards. These are the backs. That's the title card, and it's just a sewing deck. But I think the reason why I don't use it as much as I'd like to is because there's been some name changes, and I just can't find a deck to match it with. You know, usually with my major arcana only decks, I normally match it with a Lenormand deck or an Oracle deck, but for some reason this one, I just can't match it. So that's the reason why I don't use it as much as I'd like to. And I think also the archetype names have been changed. The cards aren't numbered, and I think it's kind of like a bit of a challenge for me to read with, to be quite honest. I'll just flip through the cards with you quickly, because there's only 22 cards in this. But if this card was numbered and there wasn't so much name changes, I probably would use it a lot more. A blank card there. Okay, so this is called the Tarot of the Tailors. Okay, so the next deck is called How to Deal Tarot for Everyday Life. I got this deck from Urban Outfitters, and it's a mass market deck of another indie deck, which I can't remember what the name of it is, which it's called. So it comes in this lovely two-piece box. Embrace your intuition. This is a beautiful deck. It's quite quirky and stuff. These are the backs of the cards. But I just can't remember why I don't use this deck so much. I think it's because I've got so many others in my collection that I've replaced it with in my mind that I haven't had time to play with this one. But this is a gorgeous deck, and I really need to start playing with it again. I think this is the mass market deck to the Circa Tarot. Some of the cards have been changed in this as well, but I got this from Urban Outfitters because sometimes they sell decks and stuff. Let me show you some of the minor cards in this deck. So this is the suit of swords, which is my favourite suit. It's also kind of like its own system. I wouldn't say this is a Rider-Waite-Smith system to me. I mean, even though some of the cards might be, I think it's kind of semi-pippish, and that could be a reason why I didn't use it as much, because I do prefer the Rider-Waite-Smith system. The next deck is called the Tarot Keymaster deck. It's an AGM deck. The reason why I bought this deck is because I thought it would be a nice way to learn the pip cards. Because I do struggle with pips, and it is something that I do want to learn. Comes with a guidebook. So this is kind of like a playing card combo. These are the backs of the cards. So the Major Arcana is illustrated. Show you a few cards from the Major Arcana. And the Minor Arcana, that they're broken up into playing card suits. And even though I do read playing cards, it's not an issue for me, and that's one of the reasons why I bought this, because I thought that if it's playing card pips, it'd be a lot easier for me to read. I just haven't really been pulled to read with this deck. Why, I don't know, because it's beautifully kind of illustrated. It's just me, I guess. Got the Queen of Wands, just got the club sign on her shoulder. It's just beautiful. He's got a tattoo of a club on his face. Beautiful deck. I should really reach out and use this deck a bit more, I guess. That's what happens when you have too many decks in your collection. You tend to kind of like favour a minority and leave behind quite a lot of decks. Well, that's what I've been doing anyway. But I'm going to change that next year and start working a bit more with my decks. The next deck is the True Intuitive Heart Tarot deck by Rachel True. I keep my cards in this bag. I don't know why I've neglected this deck, because when it first came out and it was very, very hyped, I really enjoyed using it. The guidebook is very detailed, but I just don't know why I stopped working with this deck. Backs of the cards, absolutely gorgeous. This is a really good reader. It's given me some really good readings when I've read with it for others. I think I'm going to put this deck on one of my altars and start using it again. Look at this Nine of Swords, isn't it gorgeous? So it's just absolutely gorgeous. So I am going to start reusing this deck again, because it used to be one of my staple decks. But I guess, as I said earlier, that once you get more decks in your collection, you kind of neglect them. And this is one of these decks that I've unfortunately neglected. But I'm going to start using it again. So this is a True Heart Tarot. this Oracle deck, Inspirations for Survivors. I got this deck to use for shadow work when I was going through something. And as soon as that situation kind of got resolved, I kind of neglected this deck, which is a shame. This is a Schiffer deck. And I do find Schiffer decks to be kind of like durable cards, even though some of them can be glossy, especially some of the older ones. This is a gorgeous deck. The backs of the cards, quite plain. But it's a brilliant deck, in my opinion, to use for shadow work. And that's the reason why I don't use this deck, because I've got other decks now in my collection that I use for shadow work, and I'm not really pulled to use this deck anymore. But I'll always have it in my collection. It's beautiful. Beautiful keywords. And the little book as well is quite informative as well. It gives you enough detail in each card. It gives you the photograph of the card and then just like a nice blurb. It's really a nice guidebook. So the next deck, the Rainbow Kipper. I bought this deck because I wanted to get into Kipper. I do read Lenormand, but I wanted to learn Kipper, and I've got a lot of Stephen Bright's books, and I do have his tarot deck as well. I find his writing style quite easy to connect with, so I thought that let me try and get this Kipper deck so I can learn Kipper. I just haven't got round to using it. The cards are lovely, silver gilded, and it's a shame because I do want to learn Kipper, and I think this will be the perfect deck to learn from. Plus it's a great match for his tarot deck as well. The next deck, the Uncommon Tarot. I love this deck. It's beautiful. I mean, I do like my collage decks, and this one's got nice silver gilding. I just don't know why I've stopped using this deck. Again, it's just because I've got other decks that have probably replaced it in my collection. But this deck is just sublime. Look at the artwork. It's fantastic. It's a really good reader. I've got a particular person that I read for that used to always request for this deck, because it used to give her very accurate readings. I must start using this deck. I think next time I read with her, I'm going to use this deck and another deck, because maybe she's forgotten about it. But it's good. I think the only qualm I had with this deck was that the writing was quite small. That's the only thing, but apart from that, it's a beautiful deck. The guidebook as well is quite informative, even though it's small. And I guess again that I stopped using this deck because other decks replaced it in my collection. So this is the Uncommon Tarot. This deck, the Creative Conscious Healing deck, an oracle deck. Let's take the cards out. I haven't actually used this deck. Why, I don't know. I think I bought this deck earlier on in the year. It's kind of like a melanated kind of oracle deck. I think it's because I haven't had a tarot deck that pairs with it, because normally with my new oracle decks, I like to pair them with a tarot or Lenormand. And I can only assume that the reason why I haven't used this deck is because I haven't found anything to pair it with. But that shouldn't be an excuse, because I could use it really for one day pulls. It's beautiful. I think I'm going to start using this deck as well in the new year, because it's like beautiful artwork. I love the archetypes. I love the colour palette. Just haven't got round to using it. Look at that one, Moon Belly, healing your gut. Body connection, reclaiming the power of your body. This is such a gorgeous deck. I need to start using it. So this is the Creative Conscious Healing Oracle deck. And my final deck is called Tarot of the Pirates. I've had this deck for years. It's the Lascarabelle deck. Not quite sure whether it's still in print, because I don't see people talking about this deck very much. Comes with a little white book and a cheat sheet. But the reason why I don't use this deck so much is because of the kind of multi-archetype names. I found it very off-putting. I know that was the norm back in the day with Lascarabelle decks, but I've kind of got used to the decks not having multiple languages on it now. And this one, even though I like the artwork, I found this just off-putting, so I don't kind of reach for it no more. But I should do, because I bought it for a reason and I need to start using it more. But it is a gorgeous deck, kind of very cartoony, you know, and I do like kind of like sea kind of tarot decks, you know, tarot decks connected to the sea. It's just that I kind of neglected this deck a bit and I feel kind of bad. So thank you so much, Julia, for devising this beautiful hashtag. I will leave links in the description bar for the decks that I've showcased if they're still in print. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye for now.